So from time to time, I always find myself needing more and more USB ports. Not just for data transfer, but for powering my little gadgets and little tchotchkes I got around here. And it comes to the point where, you know, you figure out what else you can do. Of course, the first answer would be for most, well, I'll just buy another USB port powered hub or something like that. I got that. The problem is I'm not really using it to its full potential. I'm only using a tiny fraction of what it's capable of. Now, I would never run something at full bore. If it's rated at 3 amps, I would never run it at a full 3 amps. I always leave it at half duty, so amp and a half. So something like that, I think that's an Anker. I think that's 8, 10 amps, something like that. I'm only running a couple of little Nixie clocks. If I'm drawing more than an amp, that's a lot. So, like I said, I'm not using it to its full potential. Then somebody would say, well, why don't you get one of them USB hubs? Well, yeah, I can do that too, but they cost money. A lot more money than I'd really need to spend on something that is, something that you can have done for less. And then you can go all the way, because a lot of them USB hubs, they're okay. There's two different kinds. Some are unpowered and some are powered. Well, the unpowered ones, I haven't found a good one yet. I have a few of them laying around. They're good for one or two items, and then after that you get voltage drop. So, not really that good. Well, then you come to the powered ones. Well, on top of that, one, you're using up now you're using up another outlet, AC outlet, and I already got 8, 10 power strips. Add another one. I don't want to. I got enough crap. And then it comes down to something more simpler. Well, how about a splitter? Well, yeah, that's the cheapest option. But the one I can find on Amazon is about $6. Guess what? I can build one for about half the price of that. So it's not just a matter of being a cheapskate and stuff like that. It's a matter of using stuff on hand that you got laying around. So I got USB-A males and females. And so I got plenty of wire laying around. So let's build my own splitter. So I got female USB connectors with the little covering. And I got a male. So we're going to make my own little splitter for half the cost and a little bit of my time. So let's make one. So I got some bits of wire. They're about 3.5 inches long. Of course, I got the connectors. I got a couple of little pieces of heat shrink, and of course some solder and some soldering skills and stuff like that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to tin up some wires and get them pre-tinned to speed things along and aid things. That's always a bonus. And most likely the 99% likely that whatever I make from this is going to be 100 times better than stuff that you can buy from Amazon or dollar store, as in it's going to carry a lot of current, or has the potential of carrying a lot of current if you happen to find yourself in that situation. Because a lot of this USB crap that they sell on Amazon and Walmart, it's so badly underrated, as in it can't carry any current other than a little bit of half an amp or something like that. Then it peters out with voltage drop, and it becomes an underperformer. So this has been something I've been wanting to do for a long time. It's just that, you gotta have time to mill around. And on top of that, having to record it and all that other stuff. So, sometimes stuff like this takes a back burner of when you got more time to mill around and play around with stuff like this. Because everything takes longer when you gotta record it. Because you gotta set everything up. You gotta make sure everything's working. Before you smash all the record buttons. So now let's just take our USB mail here, and of course you can go online and look at the wiring diagrams, but if you look at the plug here, you see how I got the open end facing down, and on this particular model the pins are facing up when you turn it, and my left hand side is the ground side for this particular plug. And the little pins here, they're kind of welled a little bit. They got a little bit of a well to hold the wire, and we just want to put just a tiny little bit of solder in them. So your furthest pin to the left is your negative, and the pin to your right is the positive. And of course the two in the center are your data. But we're not using data, we're just using power. And of course, a little tip is when you're doing this, you don't want to put a lot of heat into these connectors because you can damage them and melt them, and then it's basically useless. So keep a note on that. So that's our male side. So now we can make our female sides. So for this installation, we'll be taking the opposite, where the wide part is facing down, and then we turn it so our negatives to our left and our positives to the right. This particular model, it's got a little plastic notch embedded in it to give us a little sense of direction, so that'll be our positive side. So same thing with these little guys, they got a little tiny little well on them to hold a tiny little bit of solder and have the wire sit down in there. So we just want just a little bit in there. And then we'll reflow our wires. These are just a bit long. And it gets a little hot. So you're going to have something to hold it. So it's that one female, and we'll do the other. Okay, now we just join everything together. So we're going to have our two females together. We'll take our male and put our shrink on. Okay, so that's our connections. And for some, it's going to say, well, that doesn't look very nice. But for me, it doesn't really matter because all I'm worried about is function. As long as it functions, I really don't care what it looks like. Of course, you can adjust the size of the wires and stuff like that to fit your needs. You can have them a little longer or a little shorter. So for these little guys, for the caps here, to make them nice and pretty, we just snap them together. And with these little guys, you need a little spot of glue to secure them because they do pop out open. It doesn't take much to pop them. So that's our male side, and then we got our female sides. And these ones don't matter how they go into the connector. As long as you got them, got this little flange, there's like a little flare. As long as you got that facing past the connector, you're good. These just snap into. There is a little slot on the end of it to hold it in there. Pop that one back apart. There's my homemade DIY USB splitter for power only. So when you get to items that you're running out of power, or you got something that only has one USB port, we can take one and turn it into two. So we'll test it here. And then we'll plug some stuff in, like a meter. At least it's something that lights up. So we got that one. And we got this one. So we got the power here. So we got the full 5 volts coming out. So our little meters are working, so that means we got good power for our splitter here. And then of course, like I said, you have to glue these in. So I got some of this 3M PR40, so it's an excellent glue. So we'll just put a little spot of glue, and that'll keep that from splitting open. So there's my little DIY splitter with parts on hand and a little bit of time. So these little connectors, A and B's, they can be found on Amazon. Just look up DIY USB connectors, and you'll find them. You'll find a picture of them with the all split apart and stuff like that. Some scrap wire, a little bit of solder, a little bit of time, a little bit of scrap wire, and a little bit of glue, and you got your own USB connector. So each one of these connectors, they're like 70 cents. So, you know, 3 of them plus a little wire. It's still half the cost of a regular splitter that you can buy on Amazon. So hope you learned something. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.